Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Deck.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Tuesday's edition of Pre-Market Info.
Well, Joel, futures pretty quiet here again, but a slow drift higher. We're up 3 points now. Been as high as 16.95.5. That's good for at least kissing up there to a new all-time high.
Only a 10-point range yesterday in the futures. Yesterday's high in 1694 and change. We got higher than that in the pre-market, 1695.50. And then the nice number of 1700.
Gotta think that's going to be on the radar here eventually. It seems like that grind north to try to get it up there. It's been a little bit of a battle though because it has been tight ranges here. The last 3 or 4 trading sessions, just this slow, steady climb. Really, it's been this slow, steady climb ever since we bottomed a month ago down that 1550 area.
Correct. And on the downside, 1690 pre-market low. We'll keep an eye on that. And then the major support, yesterday's low, 1685 and a quarter. So tight range for the S&P so
A
far.
lot of green bars on that chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know. About
Way too
14.
many.
Way too many. That's way too many green bars. Joel's waiting for a pullback here. I don't know if we're going to get it here ever or not. Eventually we will. Just a matter of when. Gold here, Joel. Had a great day yesterday. Obviously, a lot of your miners were up strong. Pulling back here a little bit this morning, just slightly here, obviously, after yesterday's gains. What are we looking at this morning on gold?
What we're looking at is a potential double top here.
Ooh,
Yesterday, yeah, potential, like I said. Yesterday's high, 1339.10. Only been able to reach 1337.80 here in today's session and fallen off pretty hard off that. So I think that whole 1340 area, yesterday's high, if we can't get through that, get up to 1350, which was the high back on 1351.20 on June 20th. I think we can sink back. This looks like it should sink back down to that $1,300 level, doesn't it? And
I
test
don't know. It's
that
so.
old resistance, new support.
Maybe. These gold bugs seem to be back, though. You're hearing it now. You hear them on CNBC now. You hear them all come out of the woods. They've been, quietly bullish the stuff. But once the gold starts rallying, then you start hearing from them all. And they're all back on this bandwagon saying how cheap those miners were there 3 weeks ago. Well, if you put Barrick Gold's running here in perspective, we were over $30 back in March. We're now 17, so because we rallied from $13 to $17, all these guys are getting excited. If you bought this thing back in March at 30, you're still not too pleased with Barrick Gold.
Yeah, just looking at that chart, the $18 level sticks out like a sore thumb
Yes, it
here.
does.
Got up to 1786 yesterday, and where did it gap down from? Gap down from 1792 back on June 19th. So that $18 level is going to be huge for ABX to get above.
What about crude? What's crude doing here this morning? It's still been on that little bit of a tear.
Yeah, pulling back a little bit. What I noticed about this chart is it has snuck over 108 on 3 different occasions, and
Yeah.
actually posted a couple settlements above that area. Now you're just kind of pulling back. Still looking at this 106.15 level. That was your low from Thursday. Got to 106.43 yesterday, but below that 106 level here, looking at the
Starts to
chart
open
of
up a
things,
bit.
yeah, start to open up, but better just to move your stop up and try and pick a top in this thing. It's just been an incredible run.
Yeah, I could see some follow through though. Like yesterday did have some weakness it looks there, so I wasn't watching the crude market too much yesterday, but obviously looking at that chart, looks like a little bit of a reversal day there yesterday and a lot of weakness, so maybe get a few people nervous. You know how I love my 2 day moves, so maybe if we can take out those lows, maybe we can knock a couple bucks off that price. We'll have to see what's going to happen with crude. Lots of earnings here today. Let's start with Netflix, though, from last night. They reported it had a wild range. I'll give you the numbers first. They beat 49 cents versus 40. The revenue in line, though, I think that disappointed the street. 1.07 billion versus 1.07 billion. Some of the subscriber numbers weren't that great either. So you had the stock actually, believe this or not, on the number sold off to 232. A lot of twos and threes in there. But wow, stock down about $30 there from the 4 o'clock close immediately. Obviously, news
Wow.
algo overshot because it's bounced back. It's now trading 252. So if somebody got a good deal down there at 232.32, stock is still down $10 though.
Since that bounce, we've gotten back up to 256.74, and since we made that high here on the shorter term chart, we've had four higher lows in the 15-minute bars. So I think this 255 level is going to be real good resistance. If it blows through 250, 255, maybe we'll pull like a Google. Remember what that
Yeah,
Google chart looked like
yeah,
in the morning? You know, it did have the big down, but then it was just a steady march for the rest of the day.
yeah.
Now
They
that
took it
thing's
over
back over.
900, and if you look at the,
Yeah, now it's way up. Yeah,
yeah,
almost back at all-time high. Looking at the dailies, though, since we are quite a bit above that pre-market low, I'd look at 245.75. That's 6 points away. Be your first support point. After that, 240.82, and then the pre-market low of 232.32.
yeah, I think the stock could show. I think it could pull a Google just because there's so many people have the hate on for the stock. Fundamentally, nobody gets it really, with the valuation perspective of it all. And there's a lot of people that are caught short this thing still. So I wouldn't be surprised if they came in, and obviously I don't think 230, 232 even stands a chance to be seen today. I think this thing gets to the mid 240s. I think it finds buyers, and it wouldn't surprise me if they tried to pull a Google and this thing got back a lot of those losses in the next couple of days. We also had Texas Instruments reporting here last night. Stock blew the numbers away, 58 versus 41 on the bottom line. The top line just a slight miss, but the bottom line was 3.05 billion versus 3.06 billion. But the bottom line number just blowing the number away, which is rallying the stock up to new 52-week highs here today. 38.40 is where it's trading at right now. Looks like it's been as high as 38.60. The old 52-week high was right there at 38.16. So we are at new 52-week highs this morning.
Boy, they must be selling a lot of calculators, huh?
I think they're. I don't know if the calculator is still Texas Instruments' main business, but I remember back in the day I had my Texas Instrument calculator. I think I was in school like 20 years ago and I had that little Texas Instruments scientific calculator doing cosine tan and all the fun stuff on it. That was my first experience with Texas Instruments.
3860 is where the initial pop got up to in the pre-market, and since you hit that 3680 level, you found some minor support here at just below 3820. So pretty tight range, really, since the news was released. You did mention on the daily there the 52-week high. So obviously, if it goes in retreat mode, we'll keep an eye on that as a minor support level. And let's see, just for kicks here, let's take a look at a monthly. I mean, I'm sure it's not going to do us any good here. Monthly perspective, we're breaking out. This is the highest level TXN has traded since 2010, actually early in 2010.
We also had Travelers TRV reported earnings. Last quarter they blew the number away. This quarter they're blowing the number away. But interesting enough, the stock is starting to calm down after it really took off here. The numbers were $2.13 versus analyst assessments of $1.61. 6.67 billion versus 5.97 billion, so blew the top and bottom numbers away. Stock trade as high as 88.75. Everybody excited off that report. Oh, up over $3. It's come back down to reality now though. 86.75, so it's given back 2 points of the 3-point gain. And at a point there, it looks like it actually went negative. It's crazy this market.
Yeah, it went down to 84.93. Has since recovered up to the $87 level here. So I mean, I know I like to look at retracements
Head
here. All
scratcher.
4-point move basically. In the pre-market from the high to the low, and now we're bumping up against this 87. That looks to be resistance for now. Above that, you get into that crazy range that you had in the pre-market, but just kind of eyeballing 87 there,
You see that
and then
89 high? Go
yeah,
back. You see where
yeah,
that 89 high was? That was on the earnings day from last time when they blew the number away. And actually, that day, I believe, it was up over like 3 or 4. No, it was up almost $5 at one point in time. Ended up opening up fairly strong. Kiss that happened 89, and then closed week gave back all the gains in closed week. It's kind of done that in the pre-market here already. So, and a lot of this may be priced in. I think Joel's pointing out there because we have been on a tear since about 3 weeks ago when we bottomed in mid-June, and obviously we're
Yeah,
on
I'm
an 8 point
not
run.
huge on trend lines here, but this,
Nice trend line.
if I was a little better on this platform here, I could draw a trend line going right up through here, and it looks like it comes right into that $85 level. So still $2 away from there. Below 85, I think things open up to the downside.
We also had DuPont reporting earnings, which is double D, and that stock breaking out to a new 52-week high here too. They beat the top and they beat actually the top line was a little slight miss. The bottom line they beat by a penny. I had some good comments there though when they were talking, or actually in the commentary there, doing some strategic stuff. So just bear with me here. Actually, I'm having computer problems on my end. But stock is traded up 59.40. It's up $2.20 right now from the 4 o'clock close. And Joel, can you
See,
still
no,
hear me? Because I'm having a little bit of
I couldn't do. What did you do? Did you hit the mute button or
I
something?
don't know. My internet cable. I got this new. I switched service providers, and actually, my cable just went down there just for like a split second. I'm back here now, guys. Just to
Okay.
recap here, DuPont is trading up about $2 here on its earnings report.
Yeah, and this is an interesting one here. You got up to 59.61 in the pre-market. Big spike for a really, really thick stock here. Blowing away the numbers here. I don't think the dailies are going to do us any good on this one. Let's go take a look at the daily chart. Haven't been up here in a while. Let's go to the monthlies here, see if we can find something. What's this? Is this an all-time high for this stock?
Um,
Very,
I'm
very well
trying to go
could be.
back to. I'm still.
Um, this is, we talk about this possible scenario a couple
I think it
times,
is.
on the show. When, I mean, this is a pretty thick stock, isn't it? Trades pretty good volume here.
Yeah, this
You
is a
know,
big move.
stock.
174,000 shares. A big move for DuPont. You usually don't see it move. Usually moves a
Yeah, and
buck or
it
two, but
trades between five
yeah.
and 10 million here. You got, maybe this one, people are sleeping in the book, with their GTC orders. I mean, they got two handles to blow through here, so maybe this is one of those opportunities where the stock in the book kind of holds it down off the open, and you can scoop it up. Or else the specialist just overwhelmed with buy orders, and he just opens it up at some. If he opens it up at 59.60, or excuse me, 57.88 is the pre-market high. So
Well, no, that's
that's
the
your
all.
reason.
No, no, DuPont's
Well,
trade.
oh,
Yeah,
what am I
that's the high. You're
doing?
looking on the wrong chart there, Joe. We got to wake you up here too. 59. Go back to the pre-market chart there, and
I
then
got
we'll.
it. Yep, 59.60. I'm sorry. Yeah, if it opens up at 57.66, it will definitely be a
Well,
good buy.
yeah.
But
I think
59.61. What
and
are you thinking
60
on
is
this one?
such a huge whole number on this. 60
It's
bucks
not
is.
going to 60, Dennis. It's
It's
not going to 60.
59.40 right now. I'm not saying, but I'm saying you got some major resistance up there. So we are approaching resistance. When the stock is up $2.20 and it's only 60 cents away from a whole number, I don't mind the risk return. So we got to put it all in perspective here. Just saying this is a big move.
58.80 for 58.80 versus 60.
Okay, you're not listening to me, Joel. So we're what I'm trying to say here is, and I'm trying to, obviously we don't do, we don't say exactly what we, would do here in this situation. It's all just putting up basically scenario analysis. But stock is trading at 59.40 right now, up $2.20. It's 60 cents away from what's probably going to be a major resistance point at 60 bucks. So what I'm saying is the risk return here is probably better to put on a short trade. So I'm on the same side as you, Joel. I'm just saying
Okay.
I'm always setting up scenarios. If it gets up in that 59.70, 59.80 area, you're probably going to find more people that are willing to sell it up there just because 60 is such
Okay.
a big whole number. If for whatever reason it blew through 60, then I'd be scared. But right now, yeah, I think I like the short side better than the long side. But who knows? It's got some momentum. It's traded some big volume. 60 is my bogey. If it takes that out, if I'm short the thing, I'd
You
probably
didn't
go
have
with.
to scold me.
Joel, he's all excited trying to sucker me into a bad bet there is what he's trying to do. So MO reported disappointing earnings, which we shouldn't be surprised because Philip Morris PM reported disappointing earnings last week. 62 versus 63, a slight miss there. And the stock is kind of just muted activity, not really trading hardly at all. Only 3,300 shares have traded, and it's down 14 cents or 16 cents.
Yeah, one straight print here, 100 shares, 36.27. So that's not really relevant. In order to get a better perspective on the stock, let's go ahead and look at the dailies here. Just finding major resistance at the 37.50 area. We're a little bit a ways from there, but you've had multiple highs between 37.35 and 37.48. In fact, that encompassed the last five highs. So if you start to sneak back up into the lower 37s, I'd expect some resistance. Currently, trading right on yesterday's low at 36.74. Also another low at 36.70. But I think you cracked that, Dennis, and you could easily trade down to the lower 36s on this one.
Here's one that might interest our Thinkorswim listeners. AMTD reported earnings here this morning, Ameritrade, and they beat, and the stock breaking out to new 52-week high here this morning too. 33 cents versus 31. The revenue kind of blew it away. 725 million versus 705.7 million. So good numbers from AMTD, and stock is trading up 70 cents right now. 26.79 just ticked, which is a new 52-week high.
It must be all the traders in Benzinga Squawk chat room that are increasing the volume here for AMTD. A couple thousand shares have traded here, 26.79. That's the print there. Probably maybe some resistance at the 27 level. A couple thousand shares have traded here, so not a lot of volume, but they're certainly getting it up. If it goes into reverse mode here, you got a long way to go to get down to yesterday's high, which was what, 26, 26. Yeah. So that's, if you're looking for a gap fill, you got a ways to go for that to happen.
I don't think you're going to see it. I think you're going to see maybe a little bit of a gap and go here. I think it could take off through 27. This is one I would bet maybe it does go through 27. So I don't know if you're interested in that or not, but
no.
Okay, we got three other ones here, major companies. I'm going to fly through them. UTX reported earnings, and they actually beat $1.70 versus $1.58, but the revenue was a little bit light, $16 billion versus $16.37 billion. And the stock actually has traded down here, UTX, on these numbers. We also had UPS report earnings here of $1.13 versus $1.13. They had already warned on the quarter on UPS, so it's very muted activity here because it was all expected. And Lockheed Martin, maybe we'll stop at this one for a second. LMT, they blew the number away, $2.64 versus $2.20. 11.41 billion versus 11.13 billion, raising full year guidance as well. So Lockheed Martin saying everything right. It's up $3 here, making new 52-week highs this morning.
119.20. I mean, that's the only level that you can look at here. I hit that. Now we're pulling back a little bit. Since hitting that 119.20, 118.71's been the low, but below that things really open up an issue. Is this an all-time high?
2008 you got to go back to, and I beat you to the numbers there, Joel. We got up to 120.30 back in 2008. That's a big number, coinciding with a big hole number here as well. So that is an interesting level. So you got a stock here opening into a little bit of possible resistance at that all-time high. I believe that's an all-time high. I can go back as far as 2004. I didn't look any farther than that. But, I'm kicking myself on this one, though. I always like Lockheed Martin. And in the financial crisis, this thing got down to like $57. And I was looking, and then it consolidated forever in the whole $70 range. I actually did buy it once. And I got like $10 off it, and I sold it, and I bought it for an investment. And I was like, I didn't like it for some reason, something short-term sighted there, and I ended up selling like 78 or something, or $79. And obviously the stock is now 115, so I'm kicking myself for I picked up a good stock on the cheap, and I sold it way too soon. And this was in my investment portfolio, not my trading portfolio. And now I look at this thing making new all-time, or getting close to new all-time highs.
You probably bought it and it dipped under 70 and 69.98 and got a little bit. No, it's 120. Got a good reference point with that all-time high, 120.30 in Lockheed Martin.
Apple will report earnings here tonight. Everybody's excited to see. I know you were looking at the options, and they are
Uh,
pricey. They are
oh,
pricey.
they're so ridiculous. I should have been an option seller. I mean, I think I was looking at like the 435s, and if I remember correctly when I looked last night, they wanted like $8. And I mean, come on. So there you
Yeah,
need to move to
443.
443.
Uh,
But it's obviously to play the actual stock. You have to look at the levels here and look at the consolidation here,
yeah,
holding above the
everybody's sitting back
420.
waiting for this number. It's gonna move. I think it's gonna move. I think it's gonna move $20 in either direction, but it's just a matter
The
of which
problem is if
direction.
you buy it here today in the session at 426, 427, and you want to use like the 423 level as a stop.
Oh,
I
you
mean,
can't.
you're going to look at 400 or 450.
That's
That's why
why the
I'm still
option
going to.
premiums are there because everybody wants to
Yeah,
try to, hedge their bets a little bit. They're obviously with options, and it's expensive to do that. So the net, it's like when you're writing options, you're like the insurance company, and the insurance companies, most of them actually make money in the long run. So as a net option seller, you probably do better than as a net option buyer. There's times to buy options, but I don't think now is the time with Apple. It's too hard. Even if you call the direction right, that premium is just very difficult to overcome. It's really got to move. Basically, this thing needs to move 30 or 35 points in one direction, probably for you to make money playing the options. So, I don't know if it's got that much gas in it or not, but I was at an Apple store there on Saturday, the one in Detroit at Somerset, and fairly busy, but not as busy as they always have been in the past. There was a lot of people in there, and so I would say busy, but usually those things are like mob scenes, and it wasn't a mob scene, so I don't know if that's a precursor there. But they're still selling stuff. There's still the
right.
iPod, and the iPhone. So
A couple things I think about this, and I just think about the way that the Netflix got pounded under $60, and then lo and behold goes back up to 270, and Apple here is pounded since 70507. They took it under 400 a couple times and couldn't crack that. I just kind of got an inkling that you're going to wake up and this thing's going to be at like 470, and you're going to be like, oh man, all the opportunity I had to buy it in the low
I
400s.
don't think so.
You don't think so?
Nah, I don't
Okay.
think
Well,
so.
not 470,
I
but
don't even know if they. I wouldn't surprise me if they disappointed here again. This went down. Did it go down? The last earnings report went from like that 420 under 400. Obviously, the last couple they've kind of disappointed here. So I don't know. Maybe the lowered expectations. Nobody's expecting them to just be blowing everything away like they used to expect. So it is lowered expectations a little bit. So maybe they can beat those lowered expectations, but. I don't know. I'm honestly sitting on my hands on Apple. We'll wait to see what materializes there. I think it's kind of more a coin flip than anything. S&P futures, Joel, reapproaching the highs here. We're just a couple points up on the day, but we're only 3 points off those highs. Is this going to be that slow, steady grind north here again and bore us to sleep?
it sure looks that way. I mean, all the earnings reports are out, so there's really, not much to shake up the market. You're trading right in the middle here of the 5 point range at 92 and a half. To me, this you got two closes. You had Friday's close at 89.50, Monday's close at 90 and a quarter, a rare double close in the market. That's the pre-market low. I think as long as we hold 1690, would be good to press up to that $1,700 level.
Well, that's our show for today, guys. We'll hear from AT&T. We'll hear from Apple tonight, and we'll be back and talking about all that stuff tomorrow.